Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. I am so excited to be on and be live. Really have an opportunity to kind of market this one ahead of time. But if you don't know me, my name is Jessie, and I am a mom on a mission. And every Thursday, I usually come on. I've been doing this podcast since March, and I come on every Thursday night, usually with moms or on my own, and I give advice to moms that just need extra help, right? And you're just not sure where to find it. And you want to hear from real moms like you. And this has been an amazing adventure that I have had. I mean, like so many amazing women that have come on, and just the people who have come on and engaged has been great. But a lot of people have missed me over the last couple weeks. So if you jump on, go ahead and do hashtag live. If you do end up showing up live, do hashtag replay. If you are on the replay, it's always fun to see who can see these and who shows up or who catches them after the fact. But I have been out with COVID for like almost 3 weeks. So if you have not seen me really on social media or on this live feed or anything like that, that is why. I did not stop. I have not been avoiding you, but I have just been very, very sick. And I had a lot of people asking questions about it. And so I'm going to do a little bit of a quicker live today, kind of going over some of the things that my family battled with when we were going through COVID, and just a little bit about that, some tips and things that I had, because I know it is still a fear, especially for a lot of families and families with kids. I have 5 kids. I work. My husband works, and 4 of my kids go to school, and my youngest goes to daycare. So it is something that we are always very, very conscious of. And I know that a lot of families still are, always thinking about that, and very like weary and leery to start on stuff or to go back into activities because of it. So I'd really like to talk to you guys about our journey with that. I also have some really awesome announcements coming up for a mom on a mission, and some things that are going to be added and some things that are really changing. It has been a minute coming, and I am just super, super excited for it all. So I want to jump in again, really when we found out, I am very, very active. I do a lot of things. I'm part of a lot of organizations. I run a couple of businesses, and I do a lot of contract work for a lot of people. And one of the things that happened is once we found out that I was sick first, I got tested, and our whole family had to quarantine. I had to quarantine separately from them, which, I have an almost 3-year-old that, despite me being super open about it, I am still partially nursing him. And that is something that was terrifying for me, because I wasn't sure if I was allowed to still do that. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to nurse. I wasn't sure if he was allowed to be around me. And when I tell you that I have not been away from that child maybe more than 24 hours since I've had him, I mean, maybe 2 days, but I really don't think I have. So this kid has literally been by my side since his birth almost 3 years ago. So that was hurdle number one, like really figuring out what to do for my littlest, and making sure that he, felt loved and connected. He really was just at the end of my door, crying almost every single day, which was just heartbreaking. Now we really honestly did end up calling our doctor and asking about the nursing. And, they said it helps to build immunities. Unfortunately, with COVID being so new, there wasn't enough information for them to fully tell us whether or not it was something that we should or should not do. Right. If you guys are coming on, go ahead, do hashtag live so you know that you're here. I'm just going over all the things that have been going on, revisiting why I haven't been on, which has been that I had COVID and I was out for about 3 weeks. Just some of my tips with that for your family, especially if you're a mom with kiddos and you have it and they don't, which was our problem. And with some announcements that I have coming up for a mom on a mission as well, which I'm very, very excited about. So yeah, making sure that my littlest understood, hi Michelle, making sure that my littlest understood that I wasn't, I wasn't avoiding him. I wasn't, it wasn't because he was in trouble that he wasn't able to see me. And really my husband just like extra loving on him and the other kids extra loving on him, because he was just heartbroken at not being able to be around mom. Now a couple of days into it, we actually had found out that my oldest had COVID as well. And then we had to let the school know, and we had to let organizations and different groups that we're a part of know, that at that point we both had it. And now our entire family, it was already quarantined, but we had to restart the family's 20-day quarantine from when my son tested positive. And that was very, very hard. And one thing that I would like to talk about is making sure that your kids are informed. As it started out, hello everybody, if you are jumping on, I'm talking about our battle with COVID and our family and our little ones. I know it's something that really struggled, and really making sure your kids are informed. We don't realize everything that our kids see and hear and learn about COVID. And this is with any disaster, honestly. And all these tips really are meant that they can go with any family emergency and any disaster that your family is dealing with, whether that's a death, whether that's mom is in the hospital, dad is in the hospital, grandparents are in the hospital, a sibling is in the hospital, or injured. I really think that you can take these and apply it to all of them. And my family has had its fair share of disasters. We are an Aflac family, okay, because we are at the ER almost like monthly, if I'm being honest. So yes, making sure your kids are informed is so important. They need to know what is going on. Hi Tiffany, hello. Um, yeah, that sounds great, honey. They need to be informed. They need to know what is going on, how this is going to affect their and affect your family. And you don't have to go into gross details, but I would like to share like a story that my youngest daughter, she was video calling us a lot. And we live right next to our grandparents, and we had to stop all visits to grandma and grandpa's because grandma has an autoimmune disorder that makes, when she gets sick, it's harder for her, right? And that's another thing that our kids had to deal with. Is normally they're okay with going over and hanging out for hours or saying hi and getting the mail and doing all of that for grandma and grandpa, and we had to tell them they couldn't. Well, the first day, my youngest daughter runs over to grandma's house, right? She runs over to grandma's house and she's all upset, and grandma has to say, stop, you can't come in, honey. And she goes, I just know that mommy's got COVID and I don't want her to die. And those were the first words and the first thoughts in my 7-year-old's head when she found out that I had COVID, that she now thought that mommy was going to die, because that is what she had been told. That is what she had heard. Now I am not downplaying the effects of COVID by any means or by any stretch of the imagination. Our family has actually suffered a death from, from COVID. Just in just a couple months ago, we had a family member that had gotten COVID, ended up going to the hospital, and had died. And so it was a reality that our family was faced with. And it was something that our kids knew could happen. Now that person had a lot of, other issues surrounded by it. They didn't get treatment right away, and there were a lot of extenuating circumstances. Now, me being a healthy, active 35-year-old woman, I really think that helped. I had already had my first shot and I was working on getting my second. And the doctor said that probably helped me from getting more serious complications. But the reality was that my kids didn't understand that. And they had been told COVID kills. The survival rates are rough. The after effects are rough. And it was just one of those things that the kids didn't understand. So making sure that they were informed, hey guys, and it was heartbreaking. Poor grandma having to deal with that, and mom having to be out on the side and not being able to hold my baby. Hey, Jeanette, honey, I'm talking about COVID with our kids. And really these tips and things can be talked about with any family emergency, any family disaster. I'm going over how keeping your kids informed is very, it's number one, really. They need to understand. Now, if there is seriousness attached with it, yes, they should know the realities of it. But remember, these are just kids. Okay. And some things you have to be more reactive to with them, and make sure that while they're going through this stuff, that no matter what, they're getting hugs, they're getting love, they're getting everything, they're getting all of the correct information and everything like that. I am trying to, Jeanette says, hey, I'm happy that you're back, take it easy. Thank you. I am trying. I ended up having to take an extra week off, and I'm going to go over that. That's going to be next too. But really, I want to drive home the point of making sure that your kids have information, that it's coming from you. One thing that I am really like an advocate for, when we've had serious situations, I had a daughter that had a health condition that had her in DeVos Hospital, which we were lucky to have that hospital, but she was in and out of that hospital for like 2.5 years on a monitor system. And there were so many things that people were sending me that I was on WebMD and all these things that were all just feeding into the frenzy and the anxiety surrounding our issues, and I made it a point then that I would only take the information that my doctor gave me for my specific instance. Okay. Now, I'm not saying there hasn't been times that I've called on a specialist for things, because there has been, but like, I am an advocate that do not, family members are going to give you advice, are going to say things, are going to do that. Communicate with your doctor and make sure that your doctor knows what's going on, and follow that, follow that. Because that is where you need to go. If you go down in the spiral, I do think that mindset does play into your health and your wellness as well. And if you go into a battle of any kind thinking that it is hopeless and that there is no chance, then I think that your results are going to reflect that. So going in and knowing that there is hope, knowing that everything is going to be okay, and knowing that as long as you follow the steps and do your best, you're going to be okay. So that goes into the next thing, and it goes into what Jeanette was saying about, and anybody who knows me, like I said, I am a mom of 5. Okay. I own a couple of businesses. I run this live podcast. I help nonprofits. I run a marketing business. I am on the PTO. I'm a board member on several organizations. I help with middle school youth group. Like, I do a lot. And then my kids do stuff too. So I am involved in everything that they are in. And one of the things that I have problem with is stopping or slowing down. And that is something that I really, really had to get on myself about. So rest, drink, repeat is what I had said. And whether, again, if you're dealing with an illness, or if you're dealing with, anything that's going on, you need to make sure that you are that you are giving yourself time to heal, whether it's emotionally from a death, whether it's physically from an illness or surgery, or, you just had a baby and you're trying to figure that out. Sometimes there's complications that go with having that, and them knowing, these were things too, when we had our miscarriage. All of these are things that we definitely, had to implement some of these things, especially with the kids, and with myself and with my husband. Thank God for him, because seriously, that man deserves a vacation. Him and my daughter are actually out right now on a daddy-daughter date, because while I was sick, my son was sick, and they were dealing with 4 kids, virtual learning, a toddler, and my husband full-time working and taking care of 2 people with COVID. She really stepped up and was amazing. And I think that's a really strong point, to use the resources that you had. We were stuck in our home, and we were not allowed to have anybody else come in. And we really relied on those people that showed up. So that was my husband, and that was my oldest daughter, and they were amazing. So they're out treating themselves out to dinner and a movie right now, and probably a bunch of junk food, and just having a blast and a lot of fun. And they deserve it 110%, because they really put us ahead of each other. And that's what family does. I think it's good for your kids to see that as well. But it required me to step back. I had to step back. I had to not micromanage situations. I had to be honest with people and say, hey, I have COVID. I am out. And the reality is that I was in bed for 8 days. And Jeanette says, I do not know how you did it. Amazing. My husband,
my child. And really there were times that I was literally sitting there in my room crying because I wanted to be out with my kids. I mean, 8 days in my bed, just in my bed, like mainly sleeping, in pain. I had gotten up to go to the restroom. But as far as like eating with the family, talking with family, doing anything like that, it was through FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, or it was just like through the door. And when I would go to the bathroom and I would come back, and my son would literally follow me and he would cry at my doorstep. It was absolutely heartbreaking. It really, really was. And it took a lot of restraint on me to say, like, to not allow him to come in and be all over me and everything, especially when I was in those first stages where I was really, really bad. Because I will say there was about 5 days that I literally got out of bed really only 3 or 4 times. And one of those was to go to the hospital. And it was pretty bad. But making sure that I went, I probably should have went a little bit sooner. But I didn't. I thought it was like after effects of my second shot. And so by like day 3, everybody was like, no, this is like serious. You need to go and get this checked out. And so that's what I did. Listening to the doctor, making sure that I was taking my meds, making sure when I was tired that I was sleeping, making sure that I was hydrated. I had a stack of vitamins and everything that I was having to do and I was having to keep up on. I had a pulse ox that I had to check every so often. I had to do breathing exercises to make sure that my lungs stayed clear through the entire thing. And really honestly, it was a lot of work. And being that I was already so exhausted, it was really hard to keep up with. And thank goodness for my husband, because he was there. We put an Alexa inside of my bedroom, and I would talk to him through that from the living room if I needed something or I needed help, or if he wanted to remind me that I needed to do something. And so with that support was amazing. As a career mom, and I am saying this to the mamas who work, and whether it is working for yourself, working for someone, or, even as a stay-at-home mom, I really had to face the reality that I was focused on my health and my wellness and like literally like breathing sometimes, that I needed to be honest with my work, my companies, my associations, my team, and tell them like, hey, I am out. I am timed out. I understand that you are important, but if I don't get better, this is going to draw out a lot longer. And case in point, last week I was like, hey, I'm allowed to be out of quarantine. I'm coming out and I'm going back to work. And Monday came, and I'll tell you, from 8 until 11, I was trying to catch up on messages, answering phone calls, answering emails. People in my office, it was insane that I completely crashed on Tuesday. I mean, I crashed. I was like about ready to go back to the doctor's office, because I had crashed so hard. And I actually struggled with a little bit of side effects where I had problems with neuropathy. They are getting much, much better, but it was something that as I was getting more tired and as things were happening, my neuropathy was getting worse. And that, if you don't know what that is, that's where like your bones and your muscles just burn and start like burning, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. And anything that I touched, my pant cuffs, if I stepped on the ground, like I was being stabbed with a million needles. Okay, it was aggressive, it was hard, and there was literally like nothing that could make it feel better. And not wanting to worry my family, I just sucked it up and like cried silently until it went away. And sometimes it was up to 4 hours at a time. And now that is going much better. It's only here and there. It's a lot less severe, which thank goodness, because literally nothing helped. I ended up having to go to a specialist for it, and they helped me with some things. But going back to work and being like, hey, I'm going to jump right back in and doing that, it actually worsened it again. And I wasn't allowing myself to, get better. I started to lose my voice again, because anybody who knows me knows when I get sick, that's the first thing that happens, right? So please rest, please communicate. We try to be super women. We try to be super mama, super career woman, super stay at home mom. And we really like always end up putting our health aside. And this is one of those times that if you do that, it's going to get worse. It's going to take longer. And in the end, you're just going to be struggling so much longer. So please rest. drink, and repeat. Okay. The next thing the next thing is really just kind of like after, after and setting plans. And I have to say, there were some amazing people who jumped up. There were some amazing people in my friends and family circle. Some of you guys had reached out and checked in on me, and I appreciate every single call, every single message, even if I couldn't get to them. And honestly, I still have messages that I have to return. So if you have reached out to me and I have not messaged, bump it for me so that I can see it. Because when I tell you that I had over 100 text messages, over 120 Facebook messages, and my voicemail box filled up like every single day. I was having to try and go through and empty my mailbox or my voicemail box. Please reach out to me, because it means so much to me that you guys are there. And that is something to be said. Get yourself a support system. One of the things that I have had her on the show, and that is Tiffany Duggar, and she is now the up and coming president of the Moms Club of Muskegon, which is where I am at. But Moms Clubs are all over. Okay, they're all over the country. And one of the things that they did, and I'm a part of this club, and it's literally just a support system for moms in the local area. And I have always been an advocate for finding your tribe and figuring out how you can fit in. And one of the things that they did when they found out that we had COVID is they did a meal train. And when I tell you that my husband and I not having to worry about what was for dinner and us having dinner covered every night for an entire week, it literally put me to tears. It literally put me to tears. Some of these women I had only met in comment sections, or maybe not even at all. And they were willing, because they understand like the struggles of being a mom and the struggles of having that happen and not being able to do anything about it. They really like selflessly gave. And I mean, and they were good meals too, right? They were amazing meals too. And Jeanette, yes, she was so great. She was so amazing. And Jeanette, you called several times, and Michelle and all these people had really reached out and just made sure that our family was okay. And one of the things they kept saying is, how can we help you? How can we help you? Right. And it was so funny, because I just kept saying anything to help Eric, anything to help my husband, because I wasn't doing anything. I was literally laying in bed, and here he was helping 3 girls do virtual learning. My oldest, who was also sick and had COVID and had quarantine separately in his room, dealing with the toddler, and then working full time. I mean, it was insane, and it was really, it was great that he was able to pull out and do that and everything. Hi, Lacey. Hello, girl. Hello, hello. But yes, finding a tribe or a group of people that were able to, help us out when we needed it, and do that meal train, or just volunteer to drop off some activities for the kids. It was so amazing. It was so amazing. Obviously with us being quarantined, it had to, it really set us up where we had to think about things like groceries. So we did delivery groceries. We let them know that we had COVID. So they left groceries on the driveway, and then we went out and we got them, and then we put them away. And making sure that everybody was informed. A phone train. Now, I don't know if everybody's heard of these. I know they were really big when I was a kid. And my family is really awesome at it, where we will start a group text, or I will message 1 or 2 people, or do a group message. And then all of those people will let other people know in our family that think they need to know, so that I'm not spending the bulk of my time repeating information to everybody so that they are informed, but I'm exhausted, or I'm dealing with my emergency, or I'm just, dealing with the kids, or, trying to survive everything. So making sure that you have something in place where you have those people that will support you. Like my sister is amazing at that. And I can just not thank her enough for everything that she did. She was constantly checking in, and then giving updates to my parents and my family and my siblings. I am part of a large family family. I'm one of six. And then we have step parents and we have grandparents, and we're just really big family. So not feeling guilty about making sure that everybody was informed and that I wasn't leaving anybody out, because even while I was struggling with COVID, I was still thinking about everybody, like, oh no, I didn't tell this person. Oh no, this person didn't know. And just like constantly thinking about that. But then knowing that there was people there to vouch for me or to make sure that people were informed. Eventually I made a post on Facebook on my personal page and let people know, hey, I'm not ignoring you. I have not dropped off the face of the world, but my family is quarantined. And making sure that everybody knew, right? Big families seem to be the norm in Michigan. Jeanette says, yes, it is. It's funny. It is. It really is, but yeah, just making sure that my family knew what was going on, making sure that my kids knew what was going on, and that we just really had a plan in place. And being that we are very accident prone. We have had many accidents. We've had, my daughter has been in a wheelchair from breaking her leg. We had a family member that had to go into serious surgeries that we were a caretaker for. My son got his pinky chopped off last year, and it was just like the panic and the trauma of all that. If you have some sort of a plan or a support system or a support group in place already, it's really going to make that easier. And I have said this time and time again, but if you need help with a support system or finding a tribe or finding somebody, then please reach out to me and let me know, because I will help you find a tribe that works for you. Like I've said before, Mom's Club is amazing. I really do love them. They're all over. I don't know if they're in other countries, Jeanette. I'd have to look into that. But I do know that they are all over, like, the US, and there are chapters everywhere. It's a nonprofit organization, and really their sole support is to make sure that moms have a place to go and get support. And it's amazing. So if you are not a part of a Mom's Club and you are a mom, please consider it. Ask me for information if you have it. Okay. So those are really the things that I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about COVID. My family is doing really good now. My son is good. We're all back at school and work. It was amazing. I have never seen these kids happier to go back to school than they were after being stuck in a house for 20 days with their family, not being able to do anything or go anywhere. Because even in summertime, or even when it was quarantine, we still went over to grandparents because we all live on the same lot and did things. But, we really just like just cabin fever is real, y'all. Cabin fever is so real. All right. I want to make a couple of announcements, and then I have a really awesome, I have really, really, really big news that I'm super excited to share with you guys. First and foremost, announcements. All of the podcasts and all of the things that I had planned have now been pushed back. So I do have Deb Kelsbeek. She does an amazing business. She's got a bunch of amazing businesses. She is a powerhouse and an amazing mom. She runs FemPro. She does a photography business. She does marketing, and she started a new business called Astra Freya. I'll put information through the next week on that as well. I'm helping mothers who have been through miscarriages. And if any of you know my story, you know that is the heart of why I love to help moms, and especially career moms. If you haven't read my story, go to my website, www.wildjessie.com, and take a look. That is really the basis of it. People are like, oh, moms are just your niche. It's pretty easy because you're a mom. It's so much deeper than that, and she had dealt with that last year, and she's so brave because she documented all of it and her feelings and everything, and just the trauma and just the grieving process that her family went through. And she ended up turning that into Astra Freya and using it as a business to help other people. So I just so great. I've got other people coming too. I know some of you have reached out or nominated moms. If you have done that within the last 3 to 4 weeks, if you could bump your message to me, or if you, so that means just going on and saying, hey, just checking in. in, or email me again, please, because I do not want you to get lost. There are so many amazing moms that I was on the verge of talking to and getting on, but there are a lot of them. Sorry, there's bug went by. But there are a lot of you, and I want to make sure that I get to share your story on here. One of the things that I am going to do as well is, as of now, and since March of last year when I started this has predominantly been, it streams on Facebook and it streams on YouTube live, and then I put the replay up. But I'm actually going to be converting all of these into podcasts as well. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's just another way to get like valuable information out to people. And it's going to be a way that people can listen when they can't really, like go on Facebook, or they can't watch the video and they still want to participate, that you can go, or if you're finding this show now, you can go and you can binge that content. So I'll be doing that very soon. And when it launches, I'll make sure that you guys know. And then that way, if you want to be a part of it or you want to share it, you're listening to it while you're driving or while you're doing dishes or laundry or anything. That is great, because I have definitely had some amazing guests on here. So those are announcements. And my big, big, big one, which I'm super, super excited, is A Mom on a Mission is actually going to be coupling and partnering with Door of Hope. Now, I'll put the information for her because I actually had her on last year. She was one of the guests that I had. She runs a nonprofit that helps women, typically younger moms, that need, or, moms that have never gotten their GED or need help with career readiness. And she has several different businesses, and she works full time as a therapist and a counselor, and just they're amazing. And we really found that our values align, and we're going to be basically, she's going to be sponsoring the show, and we're going to be working on putting out workshops for moms to help you guys, and just more things that we can do. And with the support of Door of Hope, I'm able to put forward so many more of those ideas, so many more of those workshops, and get you guys actual resources that you can use, that you can download, about different things and different topics that we've talked about. So I am so excited. Yay! I'm so glad you love podcasts. Yes, I'm very excited too, because I love podcasts. I do audio books because I don't have time to actually sit and physically read without getting tumbled by a million children. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So podcast was obviously the next best step. And all of the episodes that I've had previously will be uploaded into the podcast, and then we'll be going forward. So I might be starting it out a little bit differently, just letting people know, hey, this is going to be live podcast. It's a live recording podcast, so they know that there will be interactions as well. But then they can catch it after the fact. So I'm just super excited about that. But yes, Door of Hope is now going to be an official sponsor of A Mom on a Mission. And I'm so excited, guys, because I'm sure this is the first of many, many announcements like this. And I think it was just a really, really good meld. If you have an opportunity to go over to her and talk or check out all of her stuff, she is amazing. She's done great workshops for moms. She did a 8-week workshop when COVID hit, helping people get over mindset and wellness and figuring out how to deal with their stress and their anxiety and even their anger issues. And I know sometimes as moms, like, it's hard to keep your cool. And it was just amazing, the information that she has. And to be able to couple with her is just so exciting. And I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. This just continues to go and grow, and it's all through you guys. So I want to make sure that I thank every single one of you that has come on, that has liked, that has shared this content. And if you think that this is something that another mom can benefit from, please share it. And if you have ideas and you have suggestions, please reach out to me and let me know. Comment on it. I will put all the links in. I'm outside, so I'm not on my normal setup. I just thought it was so beautiful that I had to take advantage of it. So I'll get all the links below so that you know where to go or where to nominate a mom, or nominate yourself if you'd like to come on. But yeah, so much more is going to be happening, and I'm so excited. And just, again, You guys are amazing. All of this content comes from you. It comes from the personal messages, comes from the voice messages, and just those ones that I get where I just have a mom that really connects and says, man, what you said today. And I've even had dads too. Like, so dads, I have something special coming up in June for dads as well. And really just appreciation for my husband because I was just, man, I couldn't do it without him. I couldn't do everything I do without support. Um, and just your guys' support means so much to me. And it really helped keep me going and it helped me go. And I absolutely adore every single one of you. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Okay, enough mush. All the announcements, all of that. Hopefully some of these things I have talked about help you if your family is dealing with COVID or if you go through things. And again, if you need help with that, please reach out to me. I have done some past ones on trauma and things like that, and I would love to do more. And I think that might be one of our next events is helping families through traumatic events and traumatic situations because we've all been through the ringer the last year. Okay. And that is all I have for you today. I hope you guys have an amazing, a beautiful Thursday night. It is so good. Have an amazing weekend. I am going to be back on it with more content and more things for you guys. And I just want to remind you, when you are doing it all, you do not have to do it all alone. Okay, there is somebody out there to help you. If it's me, I am here. If it's not me, I will help you find that person. So please reach out. Please don't be alone. Please don't isolate yourself. It is always harder, and you will struggle longer, and it will take hard. It'll be harder, and it'll take longer to recover. So please reach out. Okay. I am a mom on a mission. It is a mother of a mission, and I thank you so much for joining me. You ladies